Hey guys, welcome to the Arena Meta Analysis, final analysis review of the Whispers of the Old God meta. I'm ADWCTA, and I just did that whole thing in reverse from how we usually do things. Not on purpose, just sometimes that's how thoughts come into my head. But just before we leave, right? We did it. We've come here. If you've seen all 12 episodes before, I mean, congratulations. Thank you for making it through all of this. You've listened to me talk about this now for like 4 hours. If you had also watched the Lightforge podcast, which I suggest you do as well, this is episode 38. It's the one with me and Merps after having seen all the cards. And if you also listen to that, that's another 2 hours, which means you have heard us talk about Whispers of the Old Gods in a very short period of time for like 6 hours now. You know what we know, and any additional information will come out on the tier list, which is the first thing I want to talk about in this video. If you don't know, our tier list used to be on a Google spreadsheet and on a website, ggoatgaming.com, which is still up, and it's what hosts the Lightforge podcast. But we have moved it to a much more user-friendly website, thelightforge.com, as we launch our website. We do the Lightforge podcast every week, and we upload them here on YouTube as well. And we just thought we'd use the name for everything, and so no one gets confused. And it'll be like our little secret online. That's not really a secret, but it'll hopefully give you the edge in the upcoming metas to be using our tier list. So one of the things we really wanted to do was to make sure that the tier list was able to be used by new players who really didn't have any idea what they were doing, as well as by veterans to analyze the meta and to kind of have a good experience doing it with all the bells and whistles. And it seems like in doing that, which I think we were very successful at, we also kind of lost a little bit of what the spreadsheet was good at, which is to convey information really, really concisely on one page to people who do know what they were doing, who do know what these cards are, and can find cards like just by like looking at the sheet. So we've actually spent a lot of time in the last couple of days, and we have come up with a reorganization of the website. We hope you like it. It's a lot more tighter now, and we really appreciate all the comments that we got from Reddit. So hopefully this can now achieve both of the goals of helping new players as well as not confusing veterans and giving you guys kind of the same spreadsheet experience if you want it. And if your browsers are like really slow, or you have a crappy computer or device you're using it on, there's also now minimalist mode, which cuts out all images and like animations, except like the header, I think. So our tier list will be, like, go check it out, thelightforge.com. We're going to keep it updated the way we usually do, with an update every couple of days when the expansion releases, and then, every couple weeks, and then every couple months until the next expansion comes out. And this tier list will, of course, be updated on day 0, that is on Tuesday. We may or may not miss the actual release of that Blizzard releases, because we don't know when it is. We're going to try to time it to be like around the same time, or maybe even earlier in the morning. We'll see. But regardless, it'll be up on day 0, and so you guys will you can check out the exact tier scores when that comes out, because we did this whole video series without going too much into the exact tier scores, and that was on purpose, right? Because one, I don't know the exact tier scores when I was doing the videos. I hadn't talked to Merps about these in detail. By now we have, and we have exact numbers here. I am looking at them, and I don't want to ruin too much, but to no one's surprise, I think I can say this, N'Zoth's First Mate is our pick for the number 1 card by a significant margin in the new meta. No other class commons, of the commons, no other commons come close. Well, another reason why I didn't want to give exact numbers before is because really sometimes things change a lot. Like, if you go back to the Warlock video, you'll hear me rave about how good Spreading Madness is. I like the card. I liked the card back when I first saw it. I liked the card when the entire set was revealed. It seemed like a good, flexible board clear. Until I talked to Merps. And then talked to Merps again, and then talked to Merps again, and by now he had managed to convince me that this card is really not that good of a card after all. So you'll see where it is tomorrow, and then you can see whether you agreed with my initial analysis or this new analysis that is really Merps driven. So, and when I say Merps driven, I mean the card got hated on pretty hard. Just because it damages your own face, it's unreliable. You can't like do it and then throw your like. There's a lot of weird, awkward things about this card that started to become apparent once we played out scenarios in our heads. Anyway, that's the tier list. Hope you enjoy it. It is on the lightforge.com, and we hope you make that your new drafting website to the side as you draft. And also, the website, the tier list works with arenadrafts.com and Hearthstone Helper if you're using Deck Tracker. Arena Drafts also records your stats in a better way than Deck Tracker, but if you're using Deck Tracker already and you don't want to run another program, Arena Helper, like very simply, like overlays all the information onto your screen. So those are the third-party platforms we're working with right now as we develop our algorithm and our website. So just a small update about our website. If you don't know, we're making a website that will be hopefully a significant step up, that it's almost a different product compared to old things like Arena Mastery or Hearth Arena or now like Arena Drafts. But it's not going to come up anytime soon. So starting in December, we kind of had a fork in the road where we could have kind of pushed this whole website thing through and gotten something up and had it be functional by May or June, or we could really take the time and tweak the algorithm and build everything else up so that it is a much nicer looking and more fully featured product, and have that come out much closer to the end of the year. And so we chose to do the latter just because we like to make things good. I'm kind of a perfectionist, and I don't think waiting for essentially like a year is too much time. Like I said, I said this in 2014 in June when I wrote my first guide and we started doing the Arena Coop. Episode 1 drew it, right? Me and Merbs were in it for the long haul, and we think Hearthstone will be around for dozens of years. So in the big picture, 1 year to make the product better and have everything go smoother is not that big of a delay. And so that's what we chose to do. So in the meantime, the website is launched. Go check it out if you haven't already, thelightforge.com, and let people know about it. Get people to use it. The website will be updated in some ways, but its purpose is to be a tier list. Its purpose is not to be a drafter. So hopefully you guys find that helpful. We get actually like a really large amount of people who use our tier list every day and who like click on that web page. Not even counting the people who just use the Google spreadsheet directly. So hopefully you guys will switch over to the website now that it's in a prettier version, as well as a not pretty but still prettier than the spreadsheet and more functional version. There's like sorting and everything out now too. Okay. Moving on, I want to talk a little bit more about beyond like what individual tier list values are, about how you should play in the Whispers of the Old God meta and what you should expect. So we keep talking about how things are slowing down, that there's a lot more taunts, but what does that mean for you? Like in drafting, it kind of gives you an expectation of what you can expect to see, but in gameplay, that's where it matters the most. When you're playing against decks, your expectations should be that your opponent will have taunts in their deck. Not just like a couple, but like as a fair percentage of their minions. So the gambits that you have done up to this point, where you get a read that your opponent doesn't have a taunt in their hand yet, and you just go face, and you think, well, you know, if they top deck a taunt in like 4 turns, I'm dead, but otherwise I'm fine. Don't do that anymore. Because they're actually very likely, like unless you're going to lose anyway, right? If that's your only option, do it. But otherwise, that's going to screw you over a good amount of time, a good percentage of time now. So if you're a good player, you shouldn't be doing that anymore. That's how much the Old Gods meta changed. And I also don't want to overstate it, right? Because the Arena meta, it doesn't blow up the way Ranked meta does, right? Like Ranked is going to come in on Tuesday, and it is going to be a completely different world. On the other hand, Arena is going to shift. It only shifts. It's not like they're saying the ranked meta shifts. No, the ranked meta blows up as far as I'm concerned. Just like all new stuff comes out. You can still call it Zoo, but it's not really like functioning the same way when certain cards are coming in. You can call it like, you know, Control Priest, but it's controlling in different ways now. Like they're not tweaks. They're pretty major changes. And Blizzard's going to do that with every expansion. Like, Druid was staying the same because of its class cards, and what did Blizzard do? They nerfed it, right? Like, that's the goal for Ranked. For Arena, the goal is to make a substantial shift so that it's in a new meta, but to still preserve all of your old gameplay skills so that you can still enter the arena and kind of get the hang of it like very quickly. And so what that means is when we say control meta, we mean you draft a control deck maybe 5% of the time, 10% at most, if you play all classes evenly. That's just what happens when you face control decks in slightly higher but about the same percentages. And that's really not a lot. If there are 3 archetypes and it is aggro, mid-range, and control, control is by far the biggest loser of the 3 in the arena. And not in the sense that they make bad decks, in the sense that your drafts don't go that way that often. It used to go that way a lot more often in Classic, where it was like a value meta. And by a value meta, what I mean is that probably a third of the time, you're better off picking a control style deck rather than a mid-range or a more aggressive tempo style deck. And that was kind of balanced. Since GVG came out, everything kind of shifted much more tempo-oriented and even aggressive-oriented. And Blizzard has pushed back a bit against the aggressive-oriented decks with TGT and then LOE, but it's still very tempo-oriented. And it will remain tempo-oriented, but the tempo is going to be used to get good trades on the board, to set your board up in awkward ways for your opponent with taunts and with your existing mechanics, to use your removals judiciously, to try to eke out some card advantage, so eventually you will have more flexibility and more cards to play than your opponent. And you will be able to survive longer if you have just big cards or like mass removals that you can play towards. So I would say if control decks were 5 to 10% of the meta in LoE, and I think it was, it'll probably be 15 to 20% of the meta now. Like, I don't think we're going all the way back to where Classic was in terms of the value game, just because I don't think it was ever optimal in Classic to be that value oriented. It was just that, or like it wouldn't have been if everyone was a good player. It was just that there were enough really bad players because the game was new that all you had to do was play value oriented, and it was the safest way to play, and you can get 12 wins, and that caps it, right? Your 12 win rate, once it gets to a certain point, you're like infinite and you're good. I think tempo, if you were playing against good players, I think tempo was still always the king. And knowing when to like spend some cards just to get the board or to push some face damage is always one of the keys to winning the arena. And so I think when we say that maybe Classic was a little more value focused than what the Whispers of the Old God meta is going to be, Classic actually would have rewarded tempo and face more so than Whispers of the Old God. Because now, Whispers of the Old Gods, we just have better players. So that's just something to keep in mind. Like, if you had a deck and you think it's an aggro deck and you want to make it and it's good, that's totally fine. You were going to get stopped cold by 5 to 10% of the decks. Now you're going to get stopped cold by like 15 to 20% of the decks, which is not great. But if you win all your other matchups because your deck is so powerful, it's still a good win rate, right? So if you can make a good aggro deck, this is not saying like, no, don't make aggro. But if aggro was like 30% of the meta, 33% of the meta, it's going to be like 20% now. So that's my little summary of what's going to happen on Whispers of the Old Gods. Next, I want to talk about arena rewards, because patch notes came out and people have been playing and people have noticed some crazy things happening with the arena rewards. One, the only packs you get now are Old God packs once Old God comes out. So this is very good because generally in the beginning you only want the new expansion packs because that's the packs that you have the least of. And it will definitely get more people to play the arena, which is great. One of the problems with TGT was that they moved it away after a lot of people complained that you were only getting GVG packs. So in TGT they said, all right, it's random. But that didn't work out because random means you're still getting TGT packs. So you just got GVG packs. So everyone just got a lot of GVG packs that they like had no use for. And obviously the best solution would be to make tokens and to be able to trade it in for whatever packs you want. But that's like a UI change. It's a system change. Like, Blizzard's going to be slow with that. So for now, they're changing it back to make it so only the Old Gods packs are given, which is great. This is going to get more people in the arena. And the more people in the arena, the better. And even better, Blizzard has upped the reward rate. They say by a little, but it seems like by a fairly significant margin. People are posting like 4-win runs, getting 2 packs and 55 gold. 2 packs and 55 gold. That's like insane value. I think for the most part, these kinds of new offers, that like Blizzard's going to try to give you more and more packs and try to take away gold, or at least take away dust. I think they're going to take away gold too, to make it harder and harder for anyone to be infinite, right? By like just playing arena, having enough gold to play the arena always. But in doing so, they're also going to give you a lot more cards, which then incentivizes you to play ranked. Now, as a primarily arena player, this is not necessarily a good thing. If you don't care about building up your deck collection, your card collection, I actually do care about building up my collection just as like a collector and to have enough dust and to get golden versions of all the cards. So I like this change, but I can understand if you're like struggling to get infinite, this is not a good change for you. You'll get more cards, but you will definitely, it's going to be harder for you to reach infinite, or if you're not soft infinite yet, for you to reach soft infinite. But have no fear. There is a balance to this, and the balance to this is that now ranked players, many of whom had just like skipped arena altogether since TGT has come out because of the poor reward structure and the increased reward structure in ranked. Remember, in TGT, ranked got a bonus at the end of the season, right? That gave like, it's a pretty significant bonus. So if you were a good ranked player, even if you weren't like a legend player, if you were like a rank 10 or rank 5 player, you would still get a lot of rewards for playing ranked, and just ranked. And then you could just buy packs or whatever with your gold. But now, it's definitely a lot more worth it if you just want to get more cards or more dust to play the arena with your gold, rather than to just buy packs and save the time. So with this change, a lot of ranked players and a lot of new players are going to be spending their gold in the arena rather than just buying packs. And that is excellent. That is excellent because, one, it's going to extremely increase, like, I don't want to understate it. Like, I don't think I'm in danger of overstating it either. It's going to be a lot more people in the arena once people realize what the value differential is. Like, all the veterans who were playing ranked, unless they actually just like hate the arena, they'll play the arena now too for, I don't know if it's like half their time. I don't know how much gold you can collect in ranked, but whenever you get gold, you'll use it on the arena. You would not use it on packs, or you'll use it on the arena more at least. And this is good for you. Why? Because these players are not as good in the arena. I'm not saying like, oh, the pro legend players are not good in the arena, but they're not as good as people who just like sit in the arena and play the arena all day. And you're also going to get a lot of new players who are primarily concerned with getting more dust and building more collections for their ranked decks. And they're going to play the arena to learn the game. And now the reward structure is so good that the arena is now the best way to earn cards again. It's no longer like equal or worse than ranked the way it's been since TGT. It's now dominant again. So if you ask anyone, hey, how do I build my card collection? The answer now will always be arena. And it doesn't even matter if you can win 3 wins per run. If you win like 2 wins per run, I think arena will still end up being better than just spending your gold on packs. So this is good. And if you're looking for a slightly easier competition, and I think we in the arena deserve a little easier competition because the competition's level has just gotten insane. While ranked fluctuates, like in the arena, it's just gotten ridiculous. I think we're going to see a softer meta. Definitely a softer meta with the release of the new expansion, as always. Every new expansion comes with a softer meta. But I think the softer meta is going to continue this time, and it's not going to ramp up back up as steadily. So that's very good news for the arena, right? More diverse player pool, and also more new players to make the meta a little softer. Arena's getting a little too punishing. Like, you guys see the a lot of the top arena players and the top arena records all like tick down a little in like the last month. It's been getting a little harder. Okay. And one last topic that I just kind of want to touch on. So we're just going to finish this video series without ever having a video under 15 minutes. Because why start now at part 13? The last thing I want to talk about is what's up next with Blizzard. Blizzard has made an expansion. I am fairly happy with the direction of this expansion in terms of the arena. I don't think it did anything to totally break the arena, and I think there were definitely considerations that were given to the arena. All very positive developments compared to, historical Blizzard from a year ago. Warrior's gotten better. I like that because I'm a big Warrior player. But overall, this is a ranked kind of expansion. Like there's Athiuen that's not even in the arena. There's all those cards relating to Athiuen. They're starting with standard versus wild in rank mode, and that's not reflected in the arena at all. And I don't know if it should be, but regardless. This this expansion is about making sure rank play still works while we phase out some cards from the card pool for the first time, and we readjust some fundamental cards for certain classes. So it's understandable that Blizzard was going to be a bit conservative in creating these new cards. But even with this conservatism, there was a lot of attention paid to the arena. Definitely more so, I think, than there was before. And so I'm excited for the future when there is not this ranked consideration weighing as heavily with adding standard mode, and to see what Blizzard will do with the arena for the next expansion. I think the next expansion, I'm going to make a prediction right here, that the next expansion after this will be, the next big expansion, not necessarily an adventure, will be the absolute best expansion for the arena up to that point, and maybe ever. Because that's where the focus is going. That's it for me. Once again, a huge thank you to all of our Patreons. They made this video possible. It took a lot of time by me and by Created, our video editor, oftentimes the extremely unsung hero to this video series. He's been just editing and rendering all day since the full card reveal happened, and just thank you guys so much. Patreon.com, feed the goat. And that's it from me. God, it feels weird to end this. This video series has been such a big part of my life for the past couple days. Alright, I mean, by now, when you're watching this, Whispers of the Old God should either be out or almost be out. So just get in the arena. Have fun. Check out thelifeforge.com for our exact tier list values, and create some cool decks with taunts. Go a little control. Experiment with that style if you haven't played with it before. It's gonna be good for your overall win rate to also get good at control if you've just been playing mostly aggressive tempo until now. And that's really it. We did it, guys. Part 13. Thank you, everyone. I will see you in the arena. If you're watching this on Tuesday, I'm streaming starting at 7 o'clock and ending at probably around 11:30, 12 Eastern time. So come join us at twitch.tv/ADWCTA if you're seeing this on Tuesday.